We're in Way Media.
Hello, twisted humans. Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. Hello, and welcome to episode 180 of your favorite podcast. In order for this to remain your favorite podcast, please know that I have changed the cult case that I originally hinted at a few weeks ago because it became something that I didn't think we wanted to talk about or think about right now. Remember, I told you that I fell down a rabbit hole? Well, that rabbit hole became very political. Granted, it wasn't American politics, but I think we've all heard about enough politics in the world for right now. I will come back to it another time. But today I found a more entertaining cult that we will talk about. First, before we even do any of that, we have an update from Alicia's case last week. You want to talk about it?
Yes. So we covered Hannah Kobayashi, and we started the episode by saying that when we were covering it and that more information was going to unfold. Well, the more information that has unfolded is both happy and super confusing, and something is not sitting well. But all that matters at the end of the day is that Hannah is safe. So she was.
Let's not say safe.
Well, yeah.
Hannah is alive.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Because we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, something's not right. So she was seen crossing into Mexico, and she has been declared a willingly disappeared person. Like, she chose to go missing.
Right.
But to me, every other detail about the story, it doesn't make sense. And so it still feels like we're not getting all of the answers. Like, yes, she's 31 years old, and yes, she has every right to start over wherever the heck she wants. But from planning a huge trip and being in contact with your family and super excited to going to Mexico all of a sudden.
With the text messages that she sent.
Yeah, something's not right. So
yeah, it's, in my opinion, maybe everything is fine. But in my opinion, either she left her family for a reason that they have not disclosed, or she is mentally unwell and still in danger. So it scares me.
Yeah, people are still saying Elisa Lam. Like, they're still comparing the cases. And I mean, I kind of see it. Like, Elisa's last weird messages to herself and notes on her phone and text messages, and then Hannah's text messages. And Elisa was on a trip alone as well. So it's just like, I don't know, something is strange. As far as I know, investigators are not putting the resources that they were into it, but they are still open to, discussing the case if anyone knows anything. And they have reached out to the public in a way to kind of let Hannah know, like, your family would appreciate some sort of explanation or some sort of note that you're safe. So we'll see. I don't know. It's super weird. I don't know. I still don't trust it. Something is still not adding up to me. Don't get me wrong. I threaten to run away to Mexico all the time because I don't want to do life, but I would never actually do it. So I don't know.
Also, like, not to, I don't know, offend Mexico, but you don't hear good things about when you cross the border right away. Like, the border is a violent place.
Yeah.
It's different if, like, oh, I'm going to Cancun in Sandals
to stay
Resort,
at this 5-star resort. Yeah.
But when you cross over the border, that's usually where all of the violence and dangerous things congregate. So I'm really worried for her.
And the fact that she doesn't, who knows if she still has her phone, right? Like, it still hasn't pinged.
Yeah.
So the only reason that she was seen is because borders have cameras. So it's like, I don't know. It's crazy. Also, I'm like blown away at how far stories will reach, and I'm glad for that, but also like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm gonna keep hoping for the best in this case, and that it isn't a mental health or dangerous people situation. I mean, investigators did say that it is not a trafficking situation, but do we know that for sure? Like, do we know 100%?
I don't first of all, I just don't trust the government, period. But I don't
neither.
think that they know how to know that for sure.
But people, yeah, exactly. People can say that under duress if
Yeah.
their life is being threatened. Like, I don't know. And then there's the addition of her dad having died suddenly
Yeah.
and under really unfortunate circumstances
And
from a
would she
fall.
continue to just leave knowing that? Does
Yeah,
she
right.
know?
Right.
Like, what is happening?
I think because it's all over the internet and news, I'm imagining that she knows, but again, who knows?
We
So
don't know if she has her phone.
it's still stressful. It's still a really crazy unfolding of somebody's life, and we'll keep updating you guys if we find anything. So
We will.
so stressful.
All right. And now on to our regularly scheduled programming. Starting with fun facts. What do you have for me?
My fun fact I actually learned from Wine and Crime today on bird crimes, which for any fellow animal lovers out there, maybe skip that episode. And I say that with love. But um I learned that hummingbirds, their eggs are the size of keys.
Oh, that's so tiny.
I mean, they're so tiny and cute, so it makes sense, but
Oh my God, I want to see
size
what a
of a
baby
little
hummingbird
key.
looks like. Like, what's coming out of that?
Oh, baby no, not hummus. Humming
Baby hummus.
baby hummus. Oh no. Oh, stop it.
I'm
Are
imagining a
you kidding
fly,
me?
but with really pretty wings and a really long beak.
I don't know if that's like a I don't think that this is like a like straight out of the egg hummingbird,
Mm.
but it's really cute.
Oh my gosh.
That is
They're so
ridiculous.
chubby.
So cute. Oh, those are babies. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
They're so cute.
Look at the first one in the girl's hand. Oh my Jesus.
I can't.
Baby birds just look like fetuses.
Oh,
They're so
stop it.
tiny.
I love it. I know baby birds do look like just like little aliens, like little gray.
Matter. They look
Yeah.
like matter.
Yeah. I mean, and they eat regurgitated food, which I have my own qualms with, but yeah, that is a fun fact about hummingbirds. And I love hummingbirds. And I will say this again. I know I've said it on the show in the past. If you have hummingbird feeders, you must clean them regularly. They get really bad bacteria and their beaks can get clogged and all sorts of you're basically killing them if you have it and you don't.
Yeah, also the hummingbird food that you get at grocery stores is also terrible for them. Do not buy hummingbird food from the store. Make it yourself.
Yeah.
Boil water with like a bit of sugar.
Yes.
I can't remember. There's a recipe for it on TikTok. I found it and made some time. So
I love
anyway.
we're part plant podcast, part animal podcast, part book podcast, and all things spooky.
We are your one-stop shop, okay?
That you didn't ask for our hot takes on hummingbirds, but we gave it to you anyway.
Yeah. My fun fact I also got from a podcast I heard today. It was from Time Suck. It's also a bit of a hint about today's cult episode. It's slightly related, timely, maybe. Okay. In 1960, there were about 20 adult movie theaters, as in porn.
Like porn. Okay. Okay.
In all of America.
That's nuts.
With most of them being in Los Angeles. But by 1970, you heard me right, I said 20. By 1970, there were 750 of them all across America. The number dropped really quick to about 250 in 1989, probably much to the Satanic Panic. And now there are only about 35 of them left, mostly because people just watch porn at home.
I've always been like icked about people watching porn together that aren't like sexually active together, like two guys sitting there watching porn.
Listen, when I was in, I think 7th or 8th grade, I went to my friend's house and she had an older sister and she's like, let's watch it. Let's try and watch it. And she turned it on. And I was like, what are we doing? Like, what? Why are these old people being disgusting and we're sitting here and watching it? Like, what the fuck is this? You know?
This is not why I came to your house today.
Yeah, it was very strange. But it scares me because my daughter is in 7th grade.
Oh, yeah. Well, at least there's no adult movie theaters around anymore, really. Yeah,
all right. Well, what are we drinking today?
Well, we are featuring a drink today. I'm not actually drinking it today. I've had a day of shit, guys. And I'm pivoting away from the festive sangrias for this rosé sangria because it just looked too good to pass up.
It's probably snowing where you are. You need this.
Yeah, exactly. So you are going to need mint leaves, orange, and raspberries, plus your rosé sangria. And if you're feeling fancy, you can also put in some cointreau, which is like a citrusy, orangey liqueur. And it is super, super, super simple and it looks super refreshing. And honestly, I'm kind of regretting not finding this for the summer for you guys, but I think it works.
Listen, if it's snowing, just mix all those ingredients on top of the snow. You'll be good to go.
That and like, I don't know. Yeah. It looks really good though. They do also recommend that you can add a simple syrup or sugar to it, but I think oranges and raspberries are sweet enough. And then you're just going to top it with sparkling water.
Yeah. And please do not eat snow. It is very disgusting.
There's so many pollutants in it.
So many.
As soon as I learned that as a kid, I was like, oh.
I didn't learn that as a kid.
No, like as soon as I learned that, as a kid, I ate a lot of snow.
Yeah. Yeah. I made snow ice cream for my kids about 6-7 years ago when we lived in Virginia. We went out and got snow and churned it, and it tasted good, but we probably are all going to die.
There's like a deadly slow release pathogen that was in that snow 7 years ago. Oh God. Well, yeah, don't eat snow, guys, but do check out that sangria recipe. And if it's good and you get to it before I do, please let me know. But for right now, I'm drinking a glass of white wine.
And I'm drinking water. I was going to drink hot chocolate. Water. I was going to drink hot chocolate, but I had coffee like 2 hours ago and I was like, I should probably not. So
I had a Celsius 2 hours ago. Today has been crazy. So I've had a lot of caffeine and a lot of water. And chicken. So naturally, I need to just add more poison to that mix with this glass of wine. And by chicken, I mean like deep fried chicken, guys. I'm going to have the worst heartburn in about an hour.
You'll be all right. Okay, we are going to get into this episode, but first, a quick promo from the podcast Least of These. This week's cult case is going to be fun, but still slightly problematic. The cult is known as the Brotherhood of the Source family. Have you heard of it?
No, and I'm so excited already.
This is like the most hippie cult that I have ever heard of. It is the epitome of sex, drugs, and rock and roll mixed with religion.
Okay.
It starts with a man named James Edward Baker, who was born on July 4th, 1922, in Cincinnati, Ohio. How had I not heard of this? I'll tell you
How
how.
were
No
you
one
not a
had
part
heard
of
of this.
this?
I mean, 1920s and all. Nah, you'll see why I wasn't a part of this. Okay.
Okay.
I'm too. What's the word? I'm too ready to slice off dicks with swords. That's what it is. Keep your
If
dick
you're a
away from
patron,
me.
if you follow us on Instagram, that was like one of my favorite Sierra quotes of all times.
Okay. So James Edward Baker served in the Marines during World War II and then became an expert of jujitsu. So much so that allegedly his hands were classified as lethal weapons. Allegedly. A lot of this is alleged. But I do know that professional MMA fighters, their hands are actually classified as lethal weapons in that if they hit somebody, then it's considered assault with a deadly weapon because you're so strong that your hands are deadly. You trained for them to be.
I think
So
I
I don't know.
did know that, and it's unbelievable to me every time.
It's crazy. In Ohio, he had a wife and a child that he got divorced from and never spoke to again. And then he decided to move to Hollywood. The move was probably somewhat motivated by his meeting nutritionist Paul Bragg, as in Bragg's apple cider vinegar.
Oh no. Are we allowed to like it still?
Yes, we
Okay.
can like Bragg's.
Okay.
We don't like Baker, but we like Bragg's.
Okay. I'm just checking.
Bragg is credited for introducing the idea of wellness to America, which I had no fucking idea. At the time, people were just living, just surviving, just doing what everyone else was doing that was normal. Bragg opened America's first health foods only store in America and began speaking out about things that you can eat and do to live a longer and healthier life. Obviously, many
Including
big
apple cider
companies,
vinegar.
exactly, which I still drink every day. I love
Yeah.
Bragg's. It has the mother, guys. You
Yeah,
want apple cider vinegar with the mother.
that's what makes it good for you. The little
Yeah.
bacteria.
It's a yeast, so it's not a
Yeah,
bacteria.
you know what I mean.
Obviously, many big companies hated Bragg for this, and he was sued many times. But he toured America telling people about his ideas and findings, and it resonated with James Baker, which made him a bit of a hippie before the word was even invented. And all of the hippies were in California in the 1950s. But another reason James moved to California was to audition for the role of Tarzan. It didn't work out, but he did work as a stunt double for a little while thereafter.
That's cool.
He also got married again and had 3 more children and left them all as well
My
after dating a
God.
after dating a young woman who was really into that hippie wellness lifestyle. So he's a cheater and a deadbeat father. James remembered Paul Bragg's teachings and became enamored with the hippie lifestyle, the nature, the fitness, with mostly yoga and the vegetarianism.
I mean, same, but going against all of those things by being an asshole.
Yeah. He's a very selfish hippie,
Yeah.
which are like oxymorons, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Apparently, to make ends meet out in California, James had robbed a few banks. He was never caught, so I don't know if this is true, but his claims in the unsolved bank robberies and the money he had, it all added up enough that many sources mentioned it. And with that money, he opened up the first health foods only restaurant in the Hollywood Hills called The Source. It did very well, had many celebrities coming by for meals like Goldie Hawn, John Lennon, and Marlon Brando. And it was actually so popular that it was in a few movies. After that, he opened 2 more restaurants in the area called The Old World and Aware Inn. Those did not become as popular, but still brought in business and brought people interested in his lifestyle. Sometime in the 60s, James was allegedly convicted of killing a man named Robert Ingram. He was the husband of the woman.
Robbing a bank. He's murdering people. He's leaving his family. I'm sorry. It just keeps getting worse.
He was the husband of a woman James was having an affair with, and they got into a fight at one of James's restaurants, a Ware Inn. It ended with James shooting the man. But I say allegedly because I can't find any police records or death records for this event. But every source I used, including a documentary, states that this happened. And also because I don't think he ever went to jail for it. Or if he did, he was let out rather quickly. Maybe he was able to claim self-defense since the man was on his business property. I'm not sure. Either way, James Baker's life continued on. Eventually, James's ego started to get the better of him. And instead of following the yoga gurus he became accustomed to when moving to California, he decided to become one himself. He studied philosophy, religion, and esoteric spirituality, and created his own sort of religious teachings of living by nature's laws, doing whatever you want as long as you were being kind.
And none of what you have done so far, sir, is kind.
He believed in natural health, organic vegetarian diets, communal living, and utopian ideas. Now, when I say organic vegetarian diets, what I mean here is very fresh. So fresh that he and his followers couldn't eat an apple that had been cut open over 45 minutes ago because it would have lost its nutritional life force by then.
You know, I was about to ask you if that was true until you finished the sentence.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
I think your apple just ripens faster when you cut it open. I don't think it loses any nutrition. Definitely not a life force. That's what I'm calling this episode, Nutritional Life Force.
Soon after this, he met a 19-year-old woman named Robin Popper and was determined to get her to fall in love with him and his way of life. She went on one date with him where he talked all about this new way of living and how beneficial it was, especially for her, as she had been having health issues and illness scares all her life. She had kind of accepted the fact that she would die early of a sickness someday. Their date did not go well, though, as she was just not really that into him. Possibly because she was 19 and he was 47.
Yeah, that'll do it.
But Robin was friends with Sharon Tate.
Oh!
And the night of her date with James was the night that Sharon Tate was murdered by the Manson family. Learning of her friend's death, Robin thought that maybe this was a sign to try living differently, to try to survive. So she decided to go out with James Baker again. And apparently James Baker was a miracle worker because he quickly cured any illness that Robin had after they started dating by just showing her yoga, meditation, and vegetarianism. I'm going to assume she probably had a fucking allergy that she didn't know about. Yeah. And she just stopped eating that food. But yeah, he's a miracle worker.
Yeah, she was like celiac or something.
Right. Something super simple that they just didn't realize existed.
Yeah.
That same year, the two got married and his ego was inflated. He began calling himself Father Yod, and she was the mother. The followers of Father Yod, who were all patrons of his restaurant, ranged in age from young to old, but the good majority of them were anywhere from 15 to 25.
Ugh.
And most likely, subconsciously, in search of a father figure who actually understood their hippie ways. The followers would come to the Source restaurant to eat with, do yoga with, and learn from Father Yod, and then return to their respective homes. Until one day, Father Yod says, "Why are you all paying all this money for rent, wasting your time traveling to me, when we could just put our money together and all live together?" So they sold off all their things, left their judgmental families behind, and started a new life with Father Yod and the mother. They all rented a mansion together. They called it the Mother House. And things really ramped up from here. They had free reign on the land and in the house. It was described by one of the members as, quote, "It was a beautiful 3-story mansion with a huge swimming pool, and here were 60 or 70 people running around nude or in flowing robes. It was like we were of another era, another age," end quote. At this house, members talked about living a metaphysical life where they were able to experience their past lives, sometimes as Egyptians, sometimes as Native Americans, and sometimes others. Of course, this was with the help of the use of drugs, but from what I can gather, they were only using marijuana, which they would all take a 6-second hit of first thing in the morning during morning meditation. They also participated in taking ice cold showers or baths in the pool all together, which cold plunges are actually very good for you. So they were onto something there, I guess.
I'm a chicken, but yes.
My dad bought an ice bath and he does a cold plunge every single morning.
No, thank you.
And it's like as cold as it is where you are there.
Yeah, no.
Insane.
I can't do it. I'm too much of a chicken. It's like diving into a pool that you know is going to be ice cold. I just can't do it.
So obviously I don't have a pool yet. Who knows? But I attempted when he was sending me all the research about how it like kind of shocks your body and sends it into like I need to survive mode. It tells your body to keep going, you know? Anyway, so I was like, I'm going to try to do this in the shower. And I would turn the shower I would, take my normal shower and then right before I got out, turn it on really cold. So I could just get under it for a couple, 30 seconds or whatever it's supposed to be and then get out. Every time I would like get in and be like, nope, I can't do it. I can't, I can't, I don't have enough self-control. If it was a pool, I think I'd be better because when you're already in, you're in,
I admire those that can do it. I do. More power to you guys.
They also did an activity where they would stare at the sun or moon for long enough that they could still see it when they closed their eyes, because they believed that this meant they were entering another world. I bet they all wear glasses today.
That's not what that means. Yeah. That means you're damaging your eyes.
Your retinas are damaged.
Yeah. It's like when you don't wear sunglasses and you sit with your eyes closed, even just in the sunshine. Yeah. And that's too bright for your eyes. Come on, people.
At some point, parents of the minors in this group called the police, saying that they can't have minors out there with everyone naked due to statutory rape laws, even if the minors had chosen to be there. Father Yod's solution to this was for someone to marry each of the minors, and he paired them up into couples.
Ew.
Because even though you can't legally have sex with a minor at the time, you could have sex with your wife, and a minor was allowed to get married. Make it make sense. This is the laws of the 70s.
It really doesn't make sense.
This is where things start to get really problematic. So Father Yod told everyone they could only be paired up with the one person he had chosen for them, husband and wife. And then everyone changed their names to the names that he had given them. All of their middle names were the, because all of their last names were Aquarian. So there were people like Octavius the Aquarian, Magus the Aquarian, Electra the Aquarian, Orbit the Aquarian, Sunflower the Aquarian, Heaven the Aquarian, who was 16, Galaxy the Aquarian. Yahowha 1 the Aquarian. Yahowha 2 the Aquarian. Yahowha 3 the Aquarian. I'm not kidding about those. Okay.
Okay.
And other names. They also started a band called Yahowha 13, which recorded more than 65 albums of folk rock and psychedelia. One of their songs is literally called Penetration. So that's fun.
Oh no, that's not, no. You gotta bury the lead a little bit sometimes. Like, you don't gotta make it super obvious.
With all of this sex, drugs, and rock and roll going on, the women of the group were bound to get pregnant. And Father Yod delivered and named these children himself, with a whole group of people gathered around to watch. One woman who was delivering, which there is a full video of in the documentary, by the way, like just shot at her vagina. Okay. She
Awesome.
gave birth to a little boy whose umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck 3 times. He was born not breathing. After Father Yod took the baby out of the girl, he spoke aloud and asked God to let the baby live, and then blew into the baby's mouth, and the baby began breathing. And the baby allegedly had no other complications throughout its life. I am sure all of the girls swooned. But also, like, if any human is not breathing and you blow into their mouth, usually, like, that's called CPR, not God. But anyway.
It's called science.
Yeah. Shortly after all the minors were married and legally allowed to be there, Father Yod changed up the rules a bit and decided that he was allowed to have multiple wives, including the minors.
Okay.
They were never physically forced. He always asked if they wanted to join him, live with him in his room, and be another of his wives. And they all said yes. None of them got jealous of each other. They respected each other's space and sex time with Father Yod, all except his original and legal wife, Robin, or Mother Aquarian. She didn't ever cause a scene, but she was devastated that this man was wanting and willing to cheat with multiple girls who she once saw as her friends or as her children.
Yeah.
Because they were the mother and father figure. And now her husband's fucking them.
Yeah. I don't like any of that.
She said that he was a, quote, dirty old man on a lust trip, end quote.
Oh.
And he said that he has 14 wives now.
Yeah, that's a lot.
This did cause some members to leave the group. They weren't into the pansexual relationships, or I guess his pansexual relationship. Pansexual, is that the right word? Polyamorous. Like, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
They weren't into his polyamorous relationship. But also, some people were getting nervous about their own children. The group believed in natural health, and they were starting to realize that that meant no medicine at all. One small child got an ear infection so bad that he had a 104.40 Celsius temperature for multiple days. And all Father Yod and the others did to help was chant around him. The dad wanted to get himself and his son away after that point, and some others left too. Around the time all of this was happening, everyone just living their lives happily. Others were looking at them like satanic hippies at an orgy, because that's what they looked like. And it didn't help that the Manson family had just been arrested for the murder that took place right down the street from their mansion. So the owner of the home told the Source family that she would not allow them to renew their rent. They had to move. So they bought a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, called it the Father House, and all 140 members moved in.
Wow. This isn't a fucking clown car. Good grief.
They renovated the homes themselves and made it more comfortable, but they also didn't mind all being so close. She called them cubbies. They built cubbies in the rooms So it was like multiple bunks all in a line on top of each other, like all over the walls. Cubbies. They built cubbies to sleep in.
That's fun.
Based on the photos and the videos that were taken of that time, because, by the way, they had a member who was deemed the archivist, who walked around with a camera the whole time. Based on those videos, the children who were born into the group or babies when their parents joined were always clothed. So that's good news. Although they lived side by side with adults who were almost always naked in these photos and videos. Also, I could be wrong because based on new laws, I don't think that if the children were naked, they'd be allowed to show the video. So maybe I just didn't see those videos. Hopefully,
maybe
the children were not naked. I am unsure.
Yeah.
At this new house is where the band really took off. They called their music spontaneous music. They just played their instruments how they felt like it, said what came to mind.
Yeah, that's pretty
said
funny.
what came to mind, and a lot of it was just chanting. Like, if you listen to one of their songs, there is no literal rhyme or reason. Like, literally, I'm not joking. Like, everyone is just playing music all at the same time. Okay. It's like on SpongeBob when they're trying to get the band to work and no one knows what they're doing.
Chaos ensues.
Yeah. They did a concert at University High School in LA, Immaculate Heart College in LA, UCLA, and at Beverly Hills High School. There was a video of Father Yod up on stage dancing around, telling the kids, quote, "I'm the father that you never knew you wanted, never thought you had, but you do," end quote. And he full on looks like Santa Claus. Okay. After the show and any other shows that they did, if someone asked about the band, about new music coming out, about the lyrics, Father Yod would invite them to come to their house for their daily morning meditation to learn more. That's how he grew his cult members. He plucked them from high schools and colleges.
Influential young people.
Yeah. The more power and appreciation Father Yod got, the more he began to abuse it. He was interested in sex magic experimentation or sexual energy for magical purposes, and he would decide who was going to have sex with whom for these raising consciousness purposes. This meant straying away from the people he already told them to marry, the people who they had begun to fall in love with after being partnered with for so long.
Oh.
The willing members didn't necessarily want to do it or even enjoy it, but they looked at it as another form of meditation and they did it out of necessity. But not all of the members were willing, and this caused more of them to leave, including Father Yod's legal wife, Robin. She was like, "I can't deal with you anymore. You ruined our marriage.
Yeah,
now
the
you're
OG,
ruining other people's marriages."
kind of OG before all of this.
Yeah. At this point, Father Yod changed his name to Yahowha, which he said was the true name of God. And he said he was God. And so many of the followers went right along with it, calling him God and trusting his belief that the end of the world was coming in the form of a nuclear war between three warring countries, and they needed to make a move. But it was also about this time that Robin came back with a baby girl, Tao, who was Father Yod's child. She thought she could talk Father Yod / Yahowha into becoming James Baker again and settling down, but he was too far gone and also starting to spiral. What the members didn't know, or at least didn't admit on the documentary, was that Father Yod wasn't paying his taxes and the IRS was pestering him about it. On top of that, CPS got a call about their mistreatment of children due to refusal of necessary medications. This was after another member left because Father Yod and the others told him he wasn't allowed to seek medical treatment for his baby with a staph infection. He sought the treatment anyway, went to UCLA Hospital, and told them about the cult. They called CPS, and CPS came knocking on the door. CPS is Child Protective Services, if I didn't say that already. But Father Yod has a solution for everything. The 3 restaurants were where they got all of their riches. At one point, nearly $10,000 a day from just the Source restaurant alone. But suddenly, Father Yod decided to sell all of it, pack up his whole cult family, and leave California, as too many people were giving them a hard time. They moved to Kauai, Hawaii in 1975 to a place Father Yod was calling an international health spa, which they were going to build, and it would consist of healing centers, schools, farming, and fishing with a big boat and an airplane, which he had already purchased.
Oh.
But the people in Kauai did not appreciate the cult coming into their city. The police there watched them closely and not at all in secret, being very intimidating on purpose. The businesses refused to hire them if they admitted to being a part of the group. And in the newspaper, the reports referred to them as a Manson-type family. Moving to Hawaii was running Father Yod's money dry. So he told the men to cut their hair, shave their beards, and keep trying to get jobs. But that's not what hippies do. And so more of them left. Like, what the fuck is this? This was supposed to be a movement. Allegedly, after an interview that Father Yod did with the newspaper to try to explain that they meant no harm, some people in Kauai began shooting guns at the cult's home. And so Father Yod began arming his own people. Again, this was a turnoff for many of the members. They thought they joined a family of peace and kindness and love and light, where they fought against going to war. Why would they use a gun?
Yeah.
At this point, Father Yod began feeling defeated. He didn't know what to do. He was heard asking some of the other members, well, what are we supposed to do now? He retreated from the sexcapades. He looked tired all the time. He would tell the followers in their classes with him that he had already taught them everything he knew. And one day, he finally admitted that he is not God.
Shocked.
He said he's just a man. He has no power. And any power he does have is provided by the God of all. He encouraged everyone to prepare for the next stage of their lives. And then shortly after, Yahowha, Father Yod, James Baker died in a hang gliding accident. But not everyone is so sure it was actually an accident.
I was just gonna say.
He decided during morning meditation on August 25th, 1975, to go hang gliding without any lessons.
Oh.
He talked to the group about hang gliding by saying, quote, "This is only natural, for this is a returning to the home of the first golden age. So let's go flying," end quote. Weird. And when he saw one of the members, one of his wives, dressed in black, when she usually wore white, he said to her, quote, "You're appropriately dressed in black," end quote.
Yikes.
And then when he left the house to go up to the cliff with some of the members, he said to the others, quote, "Mortuori de salutamus," end quote, which translates to, "We who are about to die salute you."
In what language, sorry?
Latin.
That's haunting.
Yeah. I don't know if he expected the others to hang glide as well, but he went first. Good for him. And after he was sent off the cliff, the wind stopped and he plummeted into the rocky ocean shore. The group raced down to the water and pulled him out. He was alive, but not able to move on his own. He said his back was broken. They helped him back to the house, but he seemed to be unfazed by what had happened. He said to the others, quote, "Why should I move if I can't move of my own power?" End quote. Like, just leave me here. He also said, quote, "I thought I was going to fly the kite, but I guess God did. It was his last lesson. He had to teach me." End quote. He asked the others if he should go to the hospital.
Yes. I'm going to go with yes.
They told him, "You can, but it will be against your beliefs." So he didn't go.
No.
He laid on the floor of his home where they brought him in pain for 9 hours before eventually dying of his injuries.
Oh my God.
The members claimed that an autopsy reported he had no external or internal injuries and no broken bones. They decided it must have just been his time for his spirit to leave his body. And when the newspaper reported on his death, the article right next to it, titled "New Star Shines Its Light on Hawaii," read, quote, "The rare phenomenon of a bright new star, a nova, suddenly appeared in Hawaii skies last night." End quote. They believe that star to be Father Yod.
I mean, Hawaii didn't seem very happy about having him there. I really don't think that he's a star in this scenario.
I mean, it's a literal star, but they were like, "Oh, when he died, he became a star."
Yeah. No, I know what you mean.
Yeah. Within 2 years, the Brotherhood of the Source family began to go their own separate ways, and the family became ashamed and embarrassed by the things that they once believed. In 1978, Saturday Night Live did a skit mocking the family, showing stereotypical hippies working at a restaurant they called Natural Causes Restaurant.
No way.
Yeah.
Who is in the skit?
I kind of felt so bad. No, I didn't notice them. I mean, I didn't recognize them as, 1978.
I love Saturday Night Live.
With the whole world watching the group be mocked, all of the former members stayed silent for years, not wanting to admit they were a part of this. The archivist, Isis the Aquarian, kept all of the documentation and footage to herself. And for about 30 years, no one ever talked about it again. Until some of the members got in touch with each other and decided on a sort of reunion. That is when they decided to give up their footage to a producer, and in 2012, the documentary called The Source Family was published, which can be watched for free on Tubi. There aren't many other sources about this cult, so most of it came from the documentary. Take that with a grain of salt, because they still believe that Father Yod was a great man, and they could be lying to make him sound better. But that is the Source family cult for you.
That is crazy.
So weird, right?
It is so weird and so random. Like,
yeah,
you have a talent of finding like these very obscure hidden cults in society, but that was good. I mean, I'm happy that overall most people weren't harmed. Like, in terms of cults, this was one of the least damaging ones I've seen. But
right, I think what makes it not okay, but makes you less willing, I don't know if that's the right word, to blame James Baker is the fact that while all of those people were brainwashed, they weren't brainwashed by him. They were brainwashed by society at the time.
Yeah.
Society at the time was, the hippie movement.
Yeah, he took advantage of the circumstances at
right.
hand.
Right.
And then immediately felt in over his head and was like, nah, you shouldn't follow me anymore. I'm not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he completed suicide.
Yeah.
He was
I
like,
think it was
shit, I fucked up. Let me go now.
Yeah. I don't want this life anymore.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. Oh, well,
Super
I'm
weird.
curious to know if anyone else has ever heard of that. And if you have, let us know. Great story.
Thank you.
Before we roll on out of here to record my urban legend, do you have anything exciting, anything positive? I know this month is already hitting you pretty heavy when we're recording this, but come on, something good.
I hope we get one of these houses, but like which one and will we? And stuff like that. It's just everything's just a little, all of the good is being shadowed right now, but I know it's there. There is so much good.
That's a
I'm
fair answer.
getting my kids super awesome Christmas presents. When does this come out? Before Christmas, right?
Yeah. Still be out.
The
week before Christmas.
I decided that I get my kids every year something they want, something they need, something to wear, and something to read. And they're really upset that I'm doing that again this year because they're, older and they're like, I don't want any clothes or books. But mommy's awesome, and you don't only read books and you don't only wear clothes. So for their something to read, it's cell phones. You can read a phone, right? So they're each getting a cell phone. However, I decided that I was going to trick them, and it's over there. I'm not going to get it. So I bought really thick books that are like, it was so hard. I was in Goodwill trying to find books that I could use for this purpose. And I was like, these are all good books. I can't do it.
Oh, you were going to cut into them.
Yeah. Okay. I cut into them. So I'm going to put the phone inside of the book. So we're going to get a book and be like, oh my God, a book. And then open it and it's a phone. And then for something,
a test of their gratitude.
Yeah. And then for something to wear, Bubba has headphones. You wear headphones. Sissy got a necklace that she's been, God, you have no idea. I'm really grateful that I found it. You have no idea how hard I've been looking for this necklace. I bought it from a place called Seguin, Texas, because it was the only place that I could find it. So I saw it online and I was like, I hope this isn't a scam. And I called her and I was like, hi, I've been looking for this necklace everywhere and it says you have one in stock. Will you please just double check and make sure it's there? She's like, yeah, give me a second. And then she came back and she was like, I have it in my hand. I will put it in the back for you. Go ahead and place your order online. We'll send it out. It's like, thank God.
Oh, that's nice.
Thank the aliens.
See, there you go. That's all happy stuff. I like
stuff.
it. I can't wait to hear about their reactions.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if we're getting one of these houses because there's something they need. I'm trying to mock after the house. So like if we get the one with the in-ground pool, then I'm going to get them like pool floaties as something they need. They're going to be like, what do I need this for? Because we have a pool.
Yeah.
And if we get the other one, then I don't know, goat food or something.
Goat.
Just kidding. I want goats. If we get the house that's right down the street, I'm getting goats. I decided. It has horse stables. I'm putting goats in them.
I'm like, no context. Goat food? I'm like, what is that? Just you get nothing?
Yeah. I know somebody who sells goats, so I'm not even kidding. From working at Waffle House, one of my regulars sold goats.
My goodness. Goats are so cute.
They are, and they scream, and I love it.
Like fainting goats when they're like, ah.
Yeah.
That's cute. I love goats. My something thankful is that I'm just really excited to hang out with my cousins. I'm gonna be crazy tired later, but tomorrow is a new day. We're going to get pedicures and go to the market where my cousin has her store set up for a little booth thing and visit her. And then we're gonna go get dinner and probably play board games and just be chaos.
Love it.
So I'm excited for that.
I wish I had good cousins.
Sisters I didn't get.
Yeah.
But they kind of are unofficially, so it works out. So I'm excited for that. And we are excited to bring you a special topic next week. Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Right? I always do it a week early when you're like, I still have one episode left. We are excited to bring you guys a special topic next week. Don't forget to leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. If you enjoyed this week's episode, it's the best way to spread the word, and it makes our hearts so happy this holiday season. And if you're craving some more bonus content because you got some extra time off, you can check out our Patreon page. And we love you lots. We'll see you next week. And in the meantime,
keep it twisted.
Twisted and Uncorked is a proud member of Weirding Way Media. Hosted and produced by Sierra Zorn and Alicia Watson. If you like the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can check out all things Twisted on our website, twistedanduncorked.com, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode.